In 2015, a pregnant woman in Colorado became the victim of one of the most disturbing Craigslist crimes in history. The attacker didn't just assault her, they tried to steal her unborn baby. How did Beatrice Moore survive this horrific ordeal? And what can we learn from her story to protect ourselves from online predators? Stay tuned as we dive into this shocking true crime case that will change the way you view online interactions forever. Beatrice Moore was so excited about her pregnancy. At 34 weeks, her baby bump was getting bigger by the day, and she needed some new clothes to accommodate her changing body. Like many expectant mothers on a budget, she turned to Craigslist, hoping to find some gently used maternity wear. As she scrolled through the listings, one ad caught her eye. It offered a bundle of maternity clothes, just what she was looking for. Beatrice reached out to the seller, a woman named Carrie Lane, and they started texting back and forth. The conversation seemed normal enough at first. Carrie was friendly and accommodating, answering Beatrice's questions about the clothes. But looking back, there were some subtle red flags. Carrie was oddly eager to meet in person, pushing for Beatrice to come over as soon as possible. She also avoided giving too many details about the clothes themselves. Still, Beatrice didn't think much of it at the time. She was just excited to get some new outfits for her growing belly. So on March 18, 2015, she drove to Carrie's home in Longmont, Colorado. As Beatrice pulled up to the house, she felt a little nervous. It was her first time meeting a stranger from Craigslist. But when Carrie greeted her at the door with a warm smile, those worries melted away. Carrie seemed so nice and welcoming. "Come on in," Carrie said cheerfully. "I have the clothes all ready for you to look at." The basement door creaked open, revealing a scene that would haunt Beatrice for years to come. How could a simple Craigslist meetup turn into a fight for survival? In an instant, the basement became a chamber of horrors. As we descended the stairs, I felt a chill run down my spine. Something about Carrie's demeanor had changed. Her friendly smile was gone, replaced by a cold, determined look. Before I could process what was happening, she grabbed a lava lamp and smashed it over my head. The pain was immediate and intense. I stumbled, disoriented and scared. What was going on? Why was she attacking me? Through the haze of pain, I saw Carrie lunging at me with a shard of glass from the broken lamp. I tried to defend myself, but I was too slow. The glass sliced into my neck, and I felt warm blood gushing down my chest. I couldn't believe this was real. One minute we were chatting about my pregnancy, and the next, I was fighting for my life. The basement spun around me as I struggled to stay conscious. I was losing so much blood. My baby. Oh God, my baby. What would happen to my child? In desperation, I tried to appeal to Carrie's humanity. "I love you," I pleaded, hoping to connect with her on some level, but her response chilled me to the bone. "If you love me, you'll let me do this," she said, her voice devoid of emotion. Do what? What was she planning? The realization hit me like a truck. She wanted my baby. This couldn't be happening. It was too horrific to comprehend. I tried to crawl away to protect my unborn child, but I was so weak from blood loss. I felt Carrie's hands on my stomach, and then the pain. It was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. I screamed, but it seemed like no sound came out. Through tears and agony, I watched in horror as Carrie cut into my abdomen. She was taking my baby. My world went black. When I came to, I was alone in a pool of my own blood. My stomach. Oh God, my stomach. Where was my baby? The pain was excruciating, but something inside me refused to give up. I had to survive. I had to get help. For my child, for myself. As I lay there bleeding, my maternal instinct kicked in with a fury. I wouldn't let this be the end. Somehow, some way, I had to fight for survival. But how could I possibly get out of this nightmare? Beatrice stepped inside, taking in her surroundings. It was a normal-looking house, nothing out of the ordinary. Carrie led her to the living room, where they sat and started chatting. To Beatrice's surprise, they ended up talking for nearly an hour. Carrie asked all about her pregnancy and seemed genuinely interested. Beatrice found herself opening up, sharing her excitement about becoming a mom. "Oh, you must be so thrilled," Carrie gushed. "How far along are you now?" 34 weeks, Beatrice replied, rubbing her belly. "Not much longer to go." As they talked, Beatrice almost forgot about the maternity clothes. She was just enjoying the conversation. Carrie was so easy to talk to, so understanding. It felt like chatting with an old friend. But then the conversation took an unexpected turn. "You know, I have even more clothes downstairs in the basement," Carrie said. "Why don't we go take a look?" Beatrice hesitated for a moment. Something about Carrie's tone had shifted ever so slightly, but she brushed it off, figuring she was just being paranoid. "Sure, that sounds great," Beatrice replied with a smile. As Beatrice followed Carrie towards the basement stairs, she had no idea of the horror that awaited her below. In just moments, her world was about to be turned upside down in the most unimaginable way. They say a mother's love knows no bounds. But in the aftermath of Carrie's attack, Beatrice faced a test of will that would push her beyond the limits of human endurance. Could maternal instinct alone be enough to save 2 lives? I lay there on the cold basement floor, my body broken and bleeding. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what had just happened. One moment I was chatting about maternity clothes, and the next, I couldn't even bring myself to think about it. I knew I was in bad shape. The gash on my neck was deep, and I could feel the warm blood pooling beneath me. My abdomen. Oh God, my baby. Where was my child? The thought of my unborn baby being taken from me filled me with a rage and determination I didn't know I possessed. I had to stay awake. I had to get help. But how? Every movement sent waves of agony through my body. The room spun around me, and I fought against the darkness that threatened to pull me under. I couldn't give up. I wouldn't. My thoughts turned to my baby. Was my little one still alive? I had to believe they were. I pictured holding them in my arms, feeling their tiny fingers wrap around mine. That image gave me strength. I had to survive, for both of us. I don't know how long I lay there, drifting in and out of consciousness. It felt like hours, but I later learned it was about 30 minutes. In those moments, I thought about my family, my friends. Would I ever see them again? The fear was overwhelming, but I pushed it aside. I had to focus on getting help. I spotted my phone a few feet away. It might as well have been miles. Every inch I moved was agony, but I kept going. I reached out, my fingers trembling as I dialed 911. The sound of the dispatcher's voice was like music to my ears. I tried to explain what had happened, but the words came out jumbled and weak. I was losing so much blood, but somehow I managed to give them enough information. Help was on the way. I just had to hold on a little longer. The wait for the paramedics felt endless. I focused on my breathing in and out, fighting to stay conscious. I thought about my baby, sending silent prayers that they were okay. The maternal instinct that had kicked in earlier was now the only thing keeping me going. Finally, I heard sirens in the distance. They were getting closer. Relief washed over me, but I knew I wasn't out of danger yet. The paramedics burst in, their voices urgent but calming. As they worked to stabilize me, I caught snippets of their conversation. Severe lacerations. Significant blood loss. How is she still conscious? I wanted to tell them about my baby, but I couldn't form the words. As they lifted me onto the stretcher, I felt myself slipping away. But I held on to hope. I have made it this far. I wasn't going to give up now. As the ambulance raced towards the hospital, sirens blaring, I had no idea that across town, a bizarre and chilling scene was unfolding. One that would shed light on the full horror of what had happened to me and my unborn child. While Beatrice fought for her life, Carrie Lane spun a web of lies. I couldn't believe what I was hearing when I finally learned the full story. After attacking me and cutting my baby from my womb, Carrie had the audacity to go to the hospital herself. She claimed she had given birth to a stillborn baby. Can you imagine? The woman who had just brutalized me was now pretending to be a grieving mother. The investigation moved quickly after that. When the police showed up at Carrie's house, they found evidence of the attack everywhere. Bloodstains, the broken lava lamp she had used to hit me. It was like stepping into a horror movie set. But this was real life, my life. I was still in the hospital when I heard Carrie had been arrested. The relief I felt was indescribable, but it was just the beginning of a long and painful journey. My body was healing, but my mind, that was another story. Every time I closed my eyes, I was back in that basement. I could feel her hands on me and hear her cold voice. The nightmares were relentless. The trial was another kind of nightmare. Having to face Carrie in court, to relive every excruciating detail of that day, it nearly broke me. But I knew I had to be strong. For myself, for my baby, and for other potential victims out there. When the judge sentenced Carrie to 48 years in prison, I felt a mix of emotions. Relief, yes, but also a deep sadness for everything that had been lost. Recovery was a long, tough road. There were days when I didn't want to get out of bed, when the weight of what had happened felt too heavy to bear. But slowly, with the help of my family, friends, and therapists, I started to heal. I learned to cope with the trauma, to face my fears head on. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, days when I felt like I was right back in that basement. But I refused to let Carrie win. I refused to let her take any more from me than she already had. Each day, I found a little more strength, a little more hope. Now, I want to share my story with other survivors. I want them to know that they're not alone, that there is hope after horror. It's okay to be scared, to be angry, to grieve, but it's also okay to heal, to find joy again. We are more than what happened to us. We are survivors. Beatrice's story serves as a stark reminder of the hidden dangers in our digital world, but it's also a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a beacon of hope for those who have faced unimaginable trauma. Beatrice's story is a chilling reminder that danger can lurk behind even the most innocent-looking online interactions. I've learned that we can never be too careful when meeting strangers from the internet. Always trust your gut if something feels off. When using online marketplaces, I make sure to meet in public places, bring a friend, and avoid sharing personal information. It's also smart to let someone know where you're going and who you're meeting. These simple steps can make a big difference in staying safe. Beatrice's words really stuck with me. I want people to know that they can survive, that they can get through this. You have to keep fighting no matter how hard it gets. Her strength is inspiring. It shows that even after unimaginable trauma, there's still hope for healing and moving forward. Thank you for watching this harrowing story of survival and strength. Beatrice Moore's courage reminds us that even in the darkest moments, the human spirit can triumph. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling true crime and survival tales. And remember, always stay vigilant online and protect yourself and your loved ones. Let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.